Coming in hot. Whoa, caught that one. Welcome to Speak for Yourself, thrown by Joey and Colin right there. Marcel Swally and Emmanuel Acho. King me over there. Let's get it started with the Cowboys. I like it. Mike McCarthy, who guaranteed a win, and Dallas went out there and backed it up. You hear that, Acho? Dak Prescott had an up-and-down game with 2 interceptions, including a pick-6. And they only scored 3 points in the second half, but the Cowboys defense got after Washington with 4 turnovers and 5 sacks led by rookie sensation Micah Parsons. Good Lord, so Acho, should the Cowboys be proud of this win?
No, you can't take pride in that. Now, preface with the fact that in the NFL, a win is a win. Kudos to the win. Let's understand.
Stop there.
There's a difference between accomplishing something and being proud of the accomplishment, right? You ain't proud of all your accomplishments. I know y'all aren't. I haven't been. Go back to middle school. Go back to high school. Go back to college. Yeah, you might have passed the exam. You might have got the C. You might have got the B-. But if you knew you were capable of getting an A, if you knew you had A talent, A intelligence, then you ain't going to be happy with that C. Although the C is passing.
Okay.
The Cowboys did pass, not literally, they didn't do that very well, but figuratively speaking, they passed yesterday in their performance. They won in a game of football. It's about winning. But Dallas Cowboys fans have higher expectations than just getting a C grade. Cowboys fans have expectations higher than just getting a B-. And so you can't take pride in that victory yesterday. You can acknowledge it is a victory, but you cannot take pride in that victory. So I've been a part of losses I take pride in, and I've been a part of wins that I've been disappointed in. I go back, my senior year, senior night, playing Kansas State. Our defense allowed 184 yards total. Bill Snyder, the legendary coach in which the football field at Kansas State is named after, was like, we got our tail whooped. Now, I lost that game, my senior night, my last game in the noted stadium at Texas. I lost, but I still took pride in the performance. Cowboys won yesterday, but you can't take pride in that performance. Here's why. Washington only had 225 yards. Washington had 4 turnovers. Washington possessed the ball 9 minutes less than the Dallas Cowboys. Washington gave up a touchdown on offense, and the Cowboys still could have lost the game with 3 minutes left because Washington had the ball 3 minutes, 6 seconds. Go down, score, get an extra point. It's a wrap. So for that reason, the win is not something the Cowboys should take pride in. Win, yes, congratulations. It's hard to win in the National Football League. Take that. But you can take a win and not necessarily take pride in that win.
Okay. We're going to do this, huh? I knew when I saw the word proud that Acho was going to hang on to that one, boy. Tie a knot. Hold on. Mess up his hands in the process, chafe them all up, and burns everywhere. Hold on. Pride. I know I got something. I can poke that sail with the proud word. You shouldn't be proud of that take, okay? I'm going to tell you why. Man, this game was over before it started. Mike McCarthy told you that. And that's why I think this team should be proud of this victory. Start there. Mike McCarthy pointed out that this team has tremendous confidence in its preparation and obviously what the result is. Mike McCarthy said that early in the week. He said it when he gave the Washington football team time to prepare fully. The proverbial 110%. Oh, I'm going to go extra hard on y'all. Y'all gave us bulletin board material. Mike McCarthy says, shut up, fool. Bring it on. And they went out there, and this game was over before it started. What was the score at halftime? 24 donut. Let's talk to the cheerleaders. Oh, they ain't got cheerleaders. Why? Because they ain't got a mascot. I assume they ain't got cheerleaders either. But the point is, 24 donut, give me the joystick. Give me the controller. You not playing no more. It's nephew's time, right? 27-8 going into the fourth quarter. This game was over. I'm not going to say the Dallas Cowboys got bored. They played with their food in the fourth quarter, blah, blah, blah. But this game was over in the preparation week and certainly by halftime. Now, you don't want to give them an A grade. I'm going to show you why you should give them a higher grade than you did. I'm not sure if I could give them an A grade either when their leader is not performing up to his standard. Of course. So I'm not going to say this is an A grade, but I'm going to give it higher than a C. You know why? Look at this Dallas team that held the ball 10 more minutes than Washington did without Tony Pollard, without the running game looking sensational. Interesting. You saw them go out there and 4 giveaways in the 4 games prior before Dallas. Dallas took the ball 4 times away from them just yesterday. 5 sacks in the previous 3 games. Dallas had 5 sacks just yesterday. Oh, Washington looked different. And Washington didn't give it up The Dallas Cowboys took it from these boys. Now, if you force 4 turnovers, you get 5 sacks, your quarterback now all of a sudden becomes secondary because the defense is playing such tremendous football. You look at all the stats, and the most important stats, the win column, this is their fastest start since Dak was a rookie. They're 9-4 right now, big dog. They ain't seen it that well since 2016. So should they be proud? Absolutely, because they showed that they are tight fists. Whatever coach says, we gonna back it up, tight fist. And more importantly, they had the game won and over before it even started.
They might say be a tight fist, but you know the same thing that boxers do is the same thing we football players do before we're about to max out.
What's that?
You take those risks.
Yeah.
Because the fist can be as tight as you want, but if you hit something too strong, that wrist gonna break if it's not taped. Cowboys might be a tight fist, but the wrists are not taped. Because, again, late in that fourth quarter, it did not look good. We are 2 months away from the Super Bowl. Today is 2 months, literally, from the date of the Super Bowl, which means we're about 1 month away from the playoffs. Cowboys have playoff Super Bowl aspirations.
There you
they
go.
do.
Keep it up.
And so if you want to start to gear up for the playoffs, which is what you got to do come December, then your performances have to lean you towards playoff performances. The reason the Cowboys, in my mind, can't take pride in this is you're facing Washington's 5th best pass rusher. A guy gets added to the COVID list the day of the game. Montez Sweat had been out. Jonathan Allen only played 54% of the snaps. That's a season secondary low for him. So you didn't even get Washington's best shot, but that's fine.
Okay.
It's not about Washington. It's about Dallas. And Dallas did not give them near the best shot. So it's like, I can't take pride in a victory when the Cowboys offensively, which is how the Cowboys are going to win, when the Cowboys offensively continue to struggle. You can't mention Tony Pollard. Because if you come up here mentioning they're struggling because of their backup running back,
I didn't say they were struggling.
I didn't
say they were struggling. I said they went out there and controlled the time of possession without even their best runner. That's amazing, big dog. They went out there and said, we're going to slap you in the head. If I tell you that right now and slap you in the head, oh, boy, you got real problems. They told Washington we was going to do this to you and did it to them. And the only thing Washington could be proud of is a fourth quarter. What is it? First of all, winning the game against a hot team. Washington was on a win streak. What was it, 4-game win streak? How'd that end? Okay. Dallas now has the best record in the NFC against all. Don't even bring up NFC East. We're talking about NFC, the entire conference. Only 1 loss. Best record in the NFC. This team is rolling, dog. They went out there and Washington was on fire. They put that out in the first half. Didn't even have to bother with it. And you know you've been in games before where you're up big or you're down big. The team that's up big has as much pressure because they get bored. They're like, dog, all right, mercy rule. Oh, you really want to play? Let's jog this fourth quarter and win this game.
Don't use that narrative, though. Dak Prescott and the offense didn't get bored. Like, I didn't say offense.
I didn't say offense.
So the whole Cowboys team
I said the Washington football team. What was the Washington football team then if the Dallas Cowboys didn't get bored? 24-0, 27-8.
They were bad. They were not bored.
Why were they bad?
Washington, because the Cowboys defense had too many playmakers. That's exactly what it came down to. Cowboys defense had too many playmakers. But here's what's so interesting.
Let's go.
A Cowboys team, which is the most talented offensive team in football. A Cowboys team, which if they're going to win a Super Bowl, we would assume they would win the Super Bowl because of their offense. Now all of a sudden they're hanging their hat on their defense. Is that what we're about to let slide? Because Cowboys offense didn't look great. Cowboys offense only scored 20 points. Their defense, however, gave them 7. But Cowboys offense and Washington's offense really gave up that same output. Heineke, as bad as he played, Dak Prescott played just as bad. So who can take pride yesterday? Parsons, Armstrong, Diggs, but he gave up one. Gregory, like who can truly look at that? Nobody on offense. Maybe Amari Cooper can look at that game and truly take pride. Wow. So who can actually take pride? That dude number 11 can. Wow. 94 can. Woo. 93 can. But it ain't too many Cowboys players, McCarthy included, or more, because Kellen Moore, why are you running a pass play in which Dak Prescott can make such a terrible decision to throw an interception to make it a game? Moore can't even take pride in that game yesterday. So it's about 5 to 6 players who can take pride in their performance.
Let me help you. The word is pride. The word is proud, not perfection. And if you want to go to any football game, I've never played a perfect football game. Have you?
No, sir.
Okay. So glad they didn't do a show on the imperfect plays. They just focused in on the sacks and positive plays. And then we're going to look at the Cowboys and do what we do with the Cowboys. This is the Cowboys thing to do. Oh, man, look at that play. Look at that play. Look at that moment. Instead of in totality, Cowboys and Dak Prescott have won 13 of their last 14 games in the division. Oh, my God. But now we're going to say, oh, only a couple of y'all should feel good about that. Really? I thought it was about winning the game because I noticed last year when Tom Brady, on the road to the Super Bowl, in the playoffs, wasn't playing his best football. But he was able to take pride in his performances, most importantly, because they were winning. The defense started to shore up. The defense started to force turnovers. The defense was leading the charge. But it was ultimately on the team and their leader. Now, we look at this situation, and all of a sudden we want to poke holes in it. Interesting. Let's talk about these Cowboys who have won 7 straight versus those NFC teams, including a red-hot team. A team you told me that had better wins than the Cowboys. A team that you said was red-hot. Taylor Heineke didn't wake up that morning and say, you know, I'm going to play bad today. He got on that field with all that bulletin board material, filling them up. Oh, I'm motivated. Oh, I'm angry. I told you, dog. If somebody could say something to you and get you fired up, all I'm going to say is, you wasn't warm already? Why weren't you hot already? It doesn't matter what I say. That's for the training staff to read. If a player is sitting there saying, I'm next level now because you done made me mad, you done pissed me off, I'm just giggling. Like, we going to figure out who's upset. At halftime, who was upset? The Washington football team, man. I can't take anything away from the Dallas Cowboys. Look, I know that Dak could play better, which makes me more excited, makes me even more proud of this team, because this team went out there with a hand tied behind his back and Dak Prescott not playing well, and his best running back not being able to perform as well. And they still went out there and beat down the Washington football team. Bad performances all around, and more importantly, made them do things that they haven't been doing in a month.
Here's the disconnect. The disconnect for me is oddly enough, sounds counterintuitive, I have higher expectations or aspirations for the Cowboys than it appears you do.
No.
Here's why I say that.
Don't do that.
If you know that you dominate the NFC East, but you too know you're not going to see the NFC East in the playoffs. Like, the Cowboys, it's no longer about who they're playing for the next 4 games of the season. The next 4 games of the season are all about how are the Cowboys playing. I was at the last Cowboys playoff game, and I was at the one before that, most notably the one at home in 2016.
Who are you rooting for? That's the question, Mr. Dallas.
I was working for the Cowboys, so the better they do, the more I get paid, because the longer I work. So I was rooting for the Cowboys.
There you go.
Cowboys fans have higher aspirations. So with that being said, it's not about did they win for the Cowboys. It's about how did they do in their victory. You know this, we talk about it all the time. Track and field. Let's talk American track and field. Let's talk sprinting and track and field. If you're a USA sprinter, the 100, the 200, the short races, it doesn't really matter how you do at Olympic trials. Because what you typically understand is there's another country, a country of Jamaica, that got some dogs too. So it doesn't necessarily matter, did you win at trials? Did you make it to the Olympics?
Well, I mean, you got to make it, but I hear you. Of course,
but because you know there is stiffer competition out there, which you are going to have to see.
I'm listening.
The Cowboys, the last 4 playoff games are their trial period, so to speak. Obviously, to your point, yes, they have to make it to the playoffs, but we get it. They're going to make it at this point in time. They're going to win the East. But there's stiffer competition out there, Cowboys, Cardinals.
They know.
Rams, Bucks, Packers. So I don't look at this performance versus Washington and say, heck yeah, Cowboys won. Just like I don't look at an individual at Olympic trials and say, congrats, you won. To your point, though, you have to make it. The further point, though, is how did you look in that victory? Because the ultimate goal for the Cowboys is getting to a Super Bowl, an NFC championship game. And a performance like they had against Washington isn't going to get them there. So I understand, did they win? Absolutely. But if I have those playoff Super Bowl expectations and aspirations, it's not just did the Cowboys win, how did they look in that victory, and is that performance going to be able to hold up when it matters most?
Now I figured out why I'm getting this take from you. And you actually are trying to back it up, which is crazy. Let's talk about why you got this take, because all weekend you were holding your breath. I know it. Cowboy haters everywhere. I know it. You were holding your breath. You were ready to pounce on Mike McCarthy. Pounce on him like Simba was getting trained by Mufasa. Pounce? You were waiting. Oh, I hope them boys go out there and lose. And Mike McCarthy all week talking about how they going to dominate and win. You were holding your breath. Well, how that turned out, big dog. Now, not enough oxygen to the brain, and you sitting there saying, how they going to win a Super Bowl looking like this? Well, we'll see when it matters most. But right now, this doesn't matter towards that course. Let me tell you why. You keep saying how it looked. Looks are deceiving. How does it look to you for a guy to go to, as they say, the worst football program in the country and still make it to the NFL. How would that look? I remember those days when everybody's like, you went to Columbia? You ain't making it to the league. I actually heard people literally explicitly say, you can't make it to the league going to Columbia. How'd that look? Looks are deceiving, big dog. It matters most when it matters most. And the Cowboys right now had this challenge. 1, Dak Prescott's in a slump right now. We'll get to that a little bit later. 2, you're without your best runner. And 3, there is a coach on your sideline who is popping it off, who is saying, we got to go out there and go get it. Now, what y'all gonna do? Answer that challenge. More importantly, you're doing all this on the road against a red-hot team. And what did the Cowboys do? Extinguish that fire. I'm proud of that. If you were the Dallas Cowboys, even though you didn't play your best, you went out there and smashed that team and answered the bell and responded to that challenge. So looks can be deceiving. You're right. We know a lot of teams out there looking good and not looking so good, but still getting a win. I love the fact that the Dallas Cowboys may have learned a lesson here. All right, Dak, we got to fix what's going on here. All right, running game, we'll see what's cracking. But you know what? It's better to win in a lesson than lose in a lesson. Coming up, we're not done with Dallas. Of course not. You know this show. We'll tell you if it's time to worry about Dak Prescott. But first, the Chiefs stay red hot in Sunday's blowout win. Oh, Heller. We'll tell you if they removed all doubt. That's next on Speak for Yourself. I got a frog. Elite quarterbacks take center stage on Thursday Night Football. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs take on Justin Herbert and the Chargers, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Fox, NFL Network, and streaming on Prime Video. And I will be there. Before that matchup, though, the Chiefs blew out the AFC West rivals, the Raiders, yesterday. Patrick Mahomes threw 2 touchdown passes, and his Chiefs have now won 6 straight. All right. KC started off 2-3 this season, and Mahomes said, quote, people kind of threw us down and acted like we were done. Oh, Gotcha. Have the Chiefs removed all doubt?
Yeah, but I didn't have no doubts. We got to go ahead and acknowledge the Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl. Let's just all get on the same page.
Already, huh?
I was been there. I haven't left there. I've stayed there. But let's go ahead and acknowledge the fact that the Chiefs are going to be in the Super Bowl. Borrow this pen if y'all need to. You can put it in pen, not pencil. No eraser needed at all.
Not Sharpie, though, either, huh? You ain't that certain. You ain't that certain.
Yeah, Chiefs have removed all doubt. So, I mean, the Chiefs have outscored a Raiders team. A 6-5 Raiders team, thus a Raiders team that's a very competent Raiders team.
Are they?
They've outscored the Raiders 89-23 in their last 2 matchups. 89-23. In the NFL, backups rarely get in the game. I would know. In the NFL, backups rarely get into the game, and the Chiefs had their backups rolling into the game, not just going in the game and scoring touchdowns. The Chiefs put it all together yesterday. Patrick Mahomes, 83% completion percentage. Patrick Mahomes, 130-plus passer rating. Defense. Forcing 5 turnovers, 4 forced fumbles, scored on defense. Defense still did their thing, held the Raiders to 9 points, but the offense also did their thing. Early on in the season, the Chiefs' offense was balling. Patrick Mahomes was balling. He was doing too much, forcing some turnovers, but statistically, he was balling. Gross yardage, gross touchdowns, all of those good things. Then Patrick Mahomes statistically started to wane. His statistics started to subside as the defense started to ball. But yesterday, we saw it all come together.
Let's go.
The kicker is the Chiefs have been winning games with just one side of the ball playing well. Similar to the Cowboys yesterday, just one side of the ball playing well, the Chiefs have been winning games. But assuming both sides of the ball play well, they're impossible to beat. They're unstoppable. And I've said this before. I said this week 1. I'm glad now week 14 it is coming to fruition. The Chiefs beat the Giants, but that meant nothing. But then they beat the Packers. Well, Rodgers wasn't there, so that didn't mean all that much. But then they beat the Raiders, and then they beat the Cowboys. Then they beat a good Broncos team. Then they dismantled the Raiders again. 6 straight wins versus teams with a whole lot to play for and a whole lot on the line. If you did have any doubts at this point, you're just a skeptic. Might as well call you Thomas and just try to find where the holes are. You're going to get that reference later. If not, go back to Bible study. But if the Chiefs did have any doubts, at this point, you're just a skeptic because the Chiefs are legit.
Oh, I have doubt. And I'm not going to have to go grab my Bible. I'm not going to have to call myself something I'm not. I'm just a realist, bruh. And I think you have some real doubt as well. Acho, I don't need to borrow your pen, your pencil. I don't have to borrow your paper. I don't have to borrow anything. Actually, all I have to do is just look at this Chiefs team at its high, at its best, in this 6-game win streak and come to a realization that this Chiefs team needs to be doubting itself as well. They're bottom feeding right now. And if you look at them in this division right now against this Raiders team, they are deceiving you, not me. So I sit here with doubt and you sit there with deception. But let's clarify this for the audience. I want to give you what Bobby Brown gave me in respect. A full screen called Don't Be Fooled. Let's check this full screen out right here. Look to the left. You see this team? You see Patrick Mahomes in particular? Look at his points per game against this bottom-feeding Raiders team. Now look to the right, the other teams. And I'm going to talk about the other teams because you act like those teams are Super Bowl champions. They're not that good. Let's talk about that completion percentage. Oh, Patrick Mahomes yesterday and when you beat the Raiders down a few weeks ago. Look at everybody else, though. In this 6-game win streak, I ain't picked the bottom. I didn't pick when they were 2-3. I didn't pick earlier in the year. I picked while they're at their highs. Passing, touchdown, interception. Oh, against the Raiders. Everybody else, watch yourself, watch your back. Passer rating, almost half of who he is when he's going against the bottom-feeding Raiders. Take that away. Don't be fooled, Acho. Let's talk about Patrick Mahomes and what he's doing and what he's not doing. They have not thrown for over 250 yards in their 3 straight games. Haven't done it in 4 of their last 5 games. You trying to tell me that the Dallas Cowboys, in terms of their performance, last block, oh, man, the way that they look right now, that's not going to get it done because that's not the way that they're supposed to play. They're supposed to play through Dak Prescott. Well, last time I checked, this Chiefs team's supposed to play through Patrick Mahomes. But they're on a 6-game win streak, so I applaud it. It beats the alternative. You don't want to win games and still be sitting there like with doubt? Okay. You don't? I know I do in the NFL. I want to have a win as I'm learning my lesson. They beat the Giants. Is that a good team? They beat the Packers without Aaron Rodgers. Is that a good team? Raiders. Dallas, yeah, that's a good team, great team. And Denver. But look how they beat Dallas. Be real. Another suspect game. You already know. I got these numbers right here, and they eating you up. So all I'm going to use is you against you. And more importantly, I'm going to use the Kansas City Chiefs in their highs looking low.
Oh, so I got you on this one, big dog.
No.
I got you on the only reason that your argument is completely invalid, or at least undermined in this moment, is because you can't tell me that the Cowboys should be proud of a win versus a Washington team that I would say is equal to the Raiders team. Washington beat the Raiders by 2 points, right? 17-15.
Not equal.
But a Washington team that's fairly equal to the Raiders team, or a Raiders team that beat a Cowboys team, but let's not do the whole transitive property nonsense.
Yeah, I don't want to do congruence.
But we can't take pride in a Cowboys victory over a Washington team and then shun a 48-9 dismantling of a Raiders team. Like, either I'm wrong collectively or you're wrong collectively, but you can't be right in the A block and right in the B block. Here's why. 6-game win streak.
Love it.
Raiders are a 6-5 football team outside of the Chiefs. So we know that the Raiders are just as good as any other AFC team. Because all AFC teams right now got about 4 or 5 losses, got about 7 or 6 wins. They just all do for whatever weird reason and season this is.
Bring it home.
So the Raiders are just as good as anybody else. Broncos were red hot. Broncos also beat the Cowboys. Chiefs dismantled them. Cowboys, I don't want to hear no excuses. It's a game of football. People don't have players.
They ran out of receivers and players, but still, they lost.
Green Bay Packers ran out of receivers and players.
They lost their quarterback, but they still won.
So I can't hear no excuses, can't hear none of that. They beat that team. At this point, if you look at the Chiefs and you still doubt them, then you almost have to doubt everybody in the National Football League.
No.
There's no team that I can look at and say, man, I got confidence in them. I can't doubt the Chiefs, but have confidence in the Cowboys.
Really?
Not if we watched both of those games yesterday, because I'm not going to doubt a team that beat the Raiders 48-9, but have confidence in a team that beat Washington 27-20.
First of all, I have confidence in the Chiefs. I didn't say that. I said I have doubts about the Chiefs. See, you changing the words because you know that you can't win the argument as stated. The argument was
confidence.
Confidence has never been entered into this conversation. Do I have doubt? When you have confidence, do you still have doubt? Absolutely.
No, that's an oxymoron.
Hold on. What's cockiness then? Is there levels to confidence? Yes, there is. You don't know that?
You can't be confident and doubtful.
Yes, you can, because guess what? I still know I'm going against somebody who is also getting paid, who's also capable, and may create some situations of adversity. Let's talk about this. If the Chiefs you have no doubts about the Chiefs. You have no doubts about passer rating and Patrick Mahomes being 14th during the win streak. During the win streak, Patrick Mahomes is 14th at something. During the win streak, he's 23rd in completion percentage. During the win streak, his passing yards per attempt is 17th. During the win streak, you have no issues with this. He's top 10 in one thing. Yards per game, even though the last 3 games, they haven't even thrown for over 250. But you're saying you have no doubt. I don't want to talk in absolutes. That's why, even with confidence, I still can have some doubt. You want to talk in absolutes. I said the Cowboys should be proud of a performance that was guaranteed against a team that won 4 straight games on the road, and that team still, the Cowboys didn't play with best game with their quarterback, didn't have their top runner, and still should feel proud about getting that victory, spanking them 24-0. All I'm saying is don't talk in absolutes. I'm proud of the Cowboys win, but I still got doubts about the Chiefs.
So it's an absolute question. Have the Chiefs removed all doubt? No. All's an absolute word. Yeah, so we have to talk in absolute.
Yeah.
I just don't understand a couple things. One,
let's go.
Oxymoronic phrases, right? Something can't be cold as hell. It's either cold or it is hot. Mm-hmm. You can't be skinny fat.
Well, I mean, you're lying.
You can't be partially pregnant, big dog. You're either pregnant or you're not.
Yeah.
You're either skinny or you're not.
Right,
you're either cold or you're burning. It's one or the other. Mm-hmm. I either have confidence or I have doubt. As I look at the Chiefs, I have confidence. Now, you can have levels of confidence.
I said that. You want to argue.
But you can have levels of doubt. But I can't simultaneously be confident this chair I'm sitting in is going to hold me up while also doubting this chair I'm sitting in is going to hold me up. I'm not confident the Chiefs are good while also doubting the Chiefs are good. I am certain that the Chiefs are good. Why am I certain? It's hard to win in the NFL. It's hard to win a game in the NFL. Hard to win 2 games in the NFL. Hard to win 3 games in the NFL. It is definitely hard to win 6 games in the NFL in a row.
But hold on. Let's talk circumstances. Since you don't want to talk in absolutes, only when asked a question in absolute you want to. But let's take it away. Are you confident when the team beats the Giants? I went to the Charger game yesterday, left early. I mean, come on, stop playing. All right, they beat the Giants. You confident in the team that beats the Packers without Aaron Rodgers?
Doesn't do anything for me, not yet.
You confident in the team that beats the Raiders twice?
Now a little bit.
You're having some level of belief,
now
right?
I'm getting there.
All right, you confident in the team that beats Dallas when they ain't got no receivers?
They had receivers, big dog.
They
had CD for a half, and they had Michael Gallup.
For how long?
A half, and they had Michael Gallup.
And how did that game turn out? Was it a beatdown? Was it a beatdown?
By all score, yes.
No. You know that. Denver, up and down.
So then who's good?
No, it's not about who's good. It's about, do you have no doubt about this Chiefs team? What you're doing is marrying this Chiefs team that is closing the gap between yesteryear's Chiefs team. Not the Chiefs team last year that didn't win the Super Bowl. You're using 2 years ago Chiefs team. In still regression, Patrick Mahomes hasn't figured himself out. This team still doesn't know its way offensively just yet, other than beating up on the Raiders. All I'm saying is you can't bottom feed against the Raiders and make me say I have no doubt.
But to say someone is bottom feeding is to assume that what they're feeding off of is at the bottom, and the Raiders aren't at the bottom. If the Chiefs would have beat the Jaguars 48-9, then that's different, big dog. You beat the Texans starting Davis Mills 48-9. You beat the Jets starting Mike White, Zach Wilson, Joe Flacco 48-9. But what we're not going to do is indict the Raiders, all of a sudden call the Raiders a bad team, so that when the Chiefs beat the Raiders, it's we said they're bottom feed.
Because
the Raiders are at the bottom.
They've beaten the Raiders 8 out of the last 10. So even when they don't know their way, even when they can't figure it out, eyes closed, they beat the Raiders.
Isn't that the same exact thing that Dak Prescott does with the NFC East?
Yes.
It's bottom feed.
Yes.
But you still look at a game and say, you know what? I have confidence in this team because I know what you can do against these opponents. If the Raiders are in your division and you are dismantling them, Broncos in your division, dismantling them, Cowboys, who you love, America loves, you beat them handedly. All of a sudden, when I start to tally up these things, I have confidence. I don't gain respect for an individual off of one action. I don't trust an individual because of one action. If somebody tells me one truth, they don't have my trust forever. If somebody does one notable act, they don't have my respect forever. But when I look at their body of work, that's when I start to trust an individual wholeheartedly and have respect for an individual to the utmost. The Chiefs didn't gain my confidence when they beat the Giants. Didn't gain my confidence when they beat the Packers. Didn't even gain my confidence when they beat the Raiders. But after you beat the Cowboys and the Broncos, and I look back and say, well, you know what? You did tell me the truth against the Giants. Okay, you didn't lie against the Packers. You were honest against the Cowboys. Definitely honest against the Raiders. Now I look at it and say your body of work is confidence.
I'm not going to bring a full screen up again, but I'm going to show you a body of work during their highs. There's inconsistency at play offensively and with their leader. And that's all I'm saying. If you don't believe me, believe the numbers. Look at Patrick Mahomes through this win streak. Look at Patrick Mahomes, more interceptions than touchdowns when he's not playing against the Raiders.
Here's why I hate doing that, because I hate it when people
I give it to you all
in our favor. We said this before. You give up a huge run in a football game.
Yeah.
Your defensive coordinator will come out and say, well, Marcellus Acho, outside of that run, we played a great game. For which Marcellus and Acho would say, yeah, but coach, we gave up that run.
Yeah.
I can't say outside of the Raiders game, Mahomes is terrible.
Yes.
Because the Raiders makes up 33% of this win streak.
Oh.
So we can't discount 33% of Mahomes' stats.
I walked you into traps. Don't think that you just wanted to go there on your own volition. That's why. Let's bring the Raiders into it. Who is 20th in running attack? Who is 13th in total offense? Total offense, this offense. Who is 15th in yards per play? Things that you like. This is not even my consideration. Who is 16th in red zone? They're mid-pack in everything that they're doing in totality in this 16-game win streak. In the 6-game win streak. I just wanted to isolate to you that during this win streak, their performance at their leadership positions is not what they want, not what they desire, not what he desires. Now it's about the defense. I'm fine with that. All I'm saying is I'm proud of the Cowboys team that actually affirms what a coach says. And you said you should never guarantee. Wait till it happens. Well, they not only made it happen, but they lived up to that guarantee. With this Chiefs team, my only issue is which way is up for them? You're not going to face the Raiders going forward, as you want to say. So what teams are you going to really feast off of going forward? Performing like this. We're going to fight after that one. Coming up, the Browns held on to beat the Ravens yesterday. Got a lot to say about Baker Mayfield's performance. That's next. Don't speak for yourself. Froggy style. Here. Let's head to Cleveland. Baker Mayfield threw for under 200 yards, but he had 2 touchdown passes. Baltimore, they lost Lamar Jackson early in the second quarter with a sprained ankle. But they nearly pulled off the W with backup Tyler Huntley. Baker said, quote, "We did enough to win the game, so check that box off." So, Acho, what are your thoughts on Baker Mayfield and their win?
Baker Mayfield did exactly what he needed to do in that win. And in all honesty, I think that this is the most proud I've been of Baker Mayfield.
We already used that question, so you can't use it again. That's for the Cowboy pride.
This is the most proud I've been of Baker Mayfield after game. Sal, my favorite movie is Ocean's 11. Truly my favorite movie. And Baker Mayfield yesterday played the part that reminded me of Linus in that movie. Linus's character played by Matt Damon. There's a scene where Rusty, played by Brad Pitt, looks at Matt Damon, who was a pickpocket, just had a role, but he wasn't a major character. Brad Pitt, Rusty, looks at Matt Damon, Linus, and says, "Don't use 7 words when 4 will do." He says, "Look at your mark, but don't stare. Be specific, but not memorable. Be funny, but don't make him laugh. He needs to forget you the moment you've left his sight." That was who Baker Mayfield was yesterday. Like, Baker Mayfield was memorable, but after the game, I couldn't remember anything Baker Mayfield did.
I know why.
Baker Mayfield, don't throw the ball 40 times when you only have to throw it 30. Baker Mayfield, I need you to be funny, but don't make me laugh. Baker Mayfield, I need you to get the ball out, but don't do anything crazy. That's exactly what Baker Mayfield did. Just like Linus in Ocean's 11, you weren't the major player in that movie, but your role was specific, particularly when it came time to heisting $160 million from the casino. We definitely needed you to play a role, but you didn't need to play that large of a role, but your role was important. So I watched the whole Browns game, and during the game, I was like, "Oh, Baker, good job on that quick out. Good job on that slant. Nice execution of that screen." But then while prepping for this, I was like, what in the world did Baker Mayfield do yesterday? And when I asked myself that question, I said, that's the exact question Browns fans should be asking after every game, because that probably means you won. We don't want to look at Baker and be like, dang it, remember when Baker overthrew Jarvis Landry by 15 yards on the first possession, turned into an interception like we had to do weeks ago? We don't need to look at Baker and be like, man, he got into a shootout versus Justin Herbert. If only they would have won like we did a month and a half ago. Instead, we ask ourselves, what did Baker do? The fact that there isn't anything memorable, positively nor negatively, is a great thing for me. I'm incredibly pleased with Baker's performance because that's the type of performance the Browns need from Baker to win games. Non-memorable ones. Don't do anything crazy in a positive way. Don't do anything crazy in a negative way. So what's Baker's most memorable performance all season? A loss to the Chargers, a game in which I believe you were at. A shootout.
No.
Still ended up losing. Other most memorable performances. A blowout loss versus the Arizona Cardinals when he got knocked out. But what are Baker's non-so-memorable performances? Oh, that 13-10 win against the Lions. Oh, that 24-22 win yesterday against the Ravens. Oh, that Bears win earlier on in the season. Oh, that Vikings win. The games that the Browns win are Baker's least memorable performances. So as long as we look at the game and can't actually remember what Baker Mayfield did, is actually saying, Baker Mayfield, you did your job. Just like Linus, Matt Damon, in Ocean's 11, hey, big dog, don't use 7 words when 4 will do. Be memorable, but I want to forget you the moment you leave my sight. That's what Baker Mayfield was, and I'm pleased with that because that's what the Browns need to win.
Tried to alter my thoughts on Baker Mayfield. Want to change my expectations of the quarterback position to Baker Mayfield. All I heard from your take, and Ocean's 11, your favorite movie, really? We'll talk about that off mic. Good Lord. Really? You ain't seen some other movies, huh? Obviously, I'm going to name some. Is that Baker Mayfield is a thief trying to steal my confidence in his belief. Baker Mayfield, this is what I think about you from yesterday. Let me start off with the positive. That was your highest passer rating I've seen since week 9. That was one of your better games this year. Mid-pack, but still one of your better games because there's certainly some stinkers in there. Then Mama said, if you ain't got nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all. Let's go to commercial. Because the rest ain't going to be good, Mama. All right, let's talk about Baker Mayfield for real. Because you know what you just tried to do? You tried to sell me this story. You tried to sell me this line. When average is good, then that's bad. And this was an average performance. But you want to call it a good performance. That's bad. Growing up, I had to deal with a lot of things. Gangs, drugs, poverty. The worst of them all, none of those I just listed. It was the low ambition. It was people aiming too low. And then obviously, if you aim low, you're going to hit even lower, right? So walking around all the time, I saw people doing what you just did. Accept low expectations. Just accept what it was given. Accept 91 passer rating. Accept Baker Mayfield at this level. Because if Baker Mayfield's at this level, then we got our best chance to succeed. Instead of when I saw Baker Mayfield live and in person at SoFi, and Baker Mayfield was at a better version of himself. All he had to do was finish the deal, that last drive instead of 3 checkdowns. Why don't you just go out there and duel it out really with Justin Herbert? You got something special. Y'all think I'm just hating on Baker? Y'all think I'm just talking about Baker because you don't like Baker? No, I just don't like low expectations. Here's the thing. Baker's passer rating this season is 90.1. Baker Mayfield's passer rating yesterday was 91. The league's average is 92. Once again, when average is good, that's bad. You just try to tell me to watch a movie that I already seen before that can't be in my top 10, but it's in yours. Now I see why. Because when something's average, you think it's good.
For me, Sel, it's not when average is good, that's bad. It's if I don't notice you, that's good.
Really?
Yes. Remember, I told you I went to that Drake and Kanye concert last week.
It was Kanye and Drake, first of all, the way I heard it. Right.
Kanye and Drake.
Right.
Went there last week, and you know what I didn't notice? Stadium security.
You did?
I didn't notice stadium security at all.
Yes.
And the reason I didn't notice stadium security is because stadium security, if you don't notice them, it's probably a pretty good thing. Only time you ever notice stadium security is when something goes wrong. For Baker Mayfield, the only time we actually notice Baker Mayfield is when something goes wrong. At least something being wins or losses. Only time we've noticed Baker all season is when something went wrong. Even when it went right against the Chargers and he played very well, it still went wrong. So, on this show, our guy Reggie, he's a director. But the only time we really talk about our dog Reggie as director, at least me, is when something goes wrong. When we take a different camera shot. When I'm talking, but they looking at you. When you talking, but they looking at me. When we run a different full screen. And it's because there are certain positions, unfortunately, where the only time we notice them is when something has gone wrong. Baker Mayfield, the only time we notice him is when something goes wrong. So a game like yesterday, when we don't notice Baker Mayfield, that to me is like, wait a second. Let me take the time to highlight, everything went right for what the Browns need to win ball games. It's not that average is good. It's that unnoticed is good. Like stadium security, unnoticed is good. Reggie, our director, unnoticed is good. Baker Mayfield and the Browns, unnoticed is good. If we don't notice Kareem Hunt, if we don't notice Nick Chubb, if we don't notice Myles Garrett, if we don't notice even Denzel Ward, it's like, I don't know if the Browns had a good outing. But if we don't notice Baker Mayfield, that's a pretty good thing. Different roles on different teams. Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay Packers, you better notice him. You better notice Devontae Adams, Cowboys, you don't necessarily need to notice Tyron Smith. You don't need to notice Lyle Collins. If you notice those two, something probably went wrong because they may have gotten beat. Otherwise, Tyron Smith is a stout left tackle. You never even notice him. He just did his job and didn't give up any sacks. For the Browns, Baker Mayfield, the role he plays, just don't be noticed. If you're not noticed, everything probably went right or right enough to win.
Man. Once again, not only are you accepting these low expectations, you force-feeding them to yourself. Maybe if we did notice Baker Mayfield, I don't know, we would have greater than 2-point wins over backups when Lamar Jackson goes down earlier in the game. Maybe if we notice Baker Mayfield even more, we would see that. I don't know what school you went to, Big Dog, but we out here, 54th Street Elementary School, let's just talk about how we prepared for situations and emergencies. You ever heard the question and the statement? It's really both in the same. Where is he? Where is he? Everywhere you go, you should always say, where is he? Everyone at home, when you go somewhere, the first thing you need to ask yourself is, where is he? And he is the help and the exit. H&E. Where is he? So every time I go anywhere, SoFi Stadium yesterday, I always say, where is he? Where's my help? Security. I already know where my help is. And then, where's the exit? How the hell am I getting out of here just in case he or the help doesn't help me? So when I look at the Browns, I say, where is he? Where's Baker Mayfield? Oh, he's just playing league average out there. And then him being league average is making it tougher on everyone else to do their job. But you don't want to accept that. Then you want to come up here and talk about how you don't know the security. You a dang lie. Because you told me you went to that concert and you saw all that security saying, 2 chains on the way, 2 chains on the way, right? That was security as well.
Security.
Private security. Well, there's public security for you, too. You should notice him. Where is he? So the point is, Baker Mayfield, dog, you're a #1 overall pick, just like Myles Garrett. Like, them dudes are looking at you with an expectation that you just don't want to live up to. So what you shouldn't do is now accept the lower version of that because it leads to nail biters against Tyler Huntley when it should be a blowout because you are Baker Mayfield, and that's a guy that went to Utah. But it's not that situation with those low expectations.
Here's the problem, and I've realized this, and this problem has led us to 3 arguments a week for the last 14 weeks of the NFL season. The problem, Sel, is you have not accepted who Baker Mayfield is. Now, who Baker Mayfield is may not be who we wanted him to be. But at the end of the day, we have to accept who Baker Mayfield is.
Okay.
There comes a point in time, I'm sure, where several Hall of Famers have had to accept their son is not the same athlete as them. Their daughter may not be that Division I athlete that they were. But the sooner you accept it, the better. So who is Baker Mayfield?
Tell me.
Though Baker Mayfield was cast as a lead actor, it is the supporting actor that's going to win the awards.
Okay.
It is Kareem Hunt. It is Nick Chubb. It is not Baker Mayfield who's going to win the awards. So let's quit hoping that Baker Mayfield will win the award for Best Actor. It's not the case. His leads have to win the awards. Who is he? Who is Baker Mayfield? Baker Mayfield is a average starting quarterback that, if he goes through the game unnoticed, his team can win.
Okay.
Baker Mayfield does not need to win Best Lead Actor. No. But his movie, the Cleveland Browns, they need to win Best Movie.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield does not need to win Best Lead Actor. But his supporting actors, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, they need to win. Is Baker Mayfield the #1 pick that Peyton Manning was? No. He the #1 pick that Kyler Murray was? No. He the #1 pick that Jamarcus Russell was, though? Better.
Better than that, hell yeah.
Is Baker Mayfield the #1 pick of great? No. Is he the #1 pick of terrible? No. But who is he? The sooner we understand who Baker Mayfield is, the sooner we can all stop arguing. Because Baker Mayfield is not going to be a 400-yard passer. But if he plays his role, the Cleveland Browns can be a great team. And yesterday, he played his role to near perfection.
Look, I'm not arguing with you. I'm also not going to get fatigued in what's right. And look, you keep trying to change my where is he, help and exit, to who is he? Who is he? Inconsistent? Captain consistently inconsistent. You tell me all the time that in the NFL you go as far as your quarterback. All right? Okay. Well, if you got average quarterback play, I think you probably going to have average results. Even if you have above average results, the chances are you winning it all, the chances are you truly contended, sounds like those won't be met. So that's the problem with this situation. The chances of success for this Baker Mayfield-led team. I don't know. When you have lost 5 of your last 7 starts, when you have a passer rating of 100 or less, in 5 of your last 6 starts. When you have 14 touchdowns in your last 14 starts. Big dog. All I'm trying to say is look out for the other 52 dudes on the team because they expect just a little more. Coming up, Dak Prescott did not shine in Dallas's win. Tell you if it's time to worry about their star quarterback. Next on Speak for Yourself. Hey, Reggie. See, I talked to him. All good, brother. Dallas backed up Mike McCarthy's guarantee for the win over Washington Sunday, but they were carried by their defense. And Dak Prescott threw 2 interceptions, including a big pick 6 late in the 4th quarter, and they did not score a touchdown in the second half. After the game, Dak called the offensive struggles, quote, frustrating. Acho, is it time to worry about Dak Prescott? Is it time now? This moment, what time is it? I ain't even got an eye watch, and this ain't got a battery. 12:56.
It's past time to worry about Dak Prescott. Now, I apologize in advance. I understand that it is a criminal to criticize Dak Prescott. I understand that I may be sentenced to Twitter prison, maybe legitimate prison, for criticizing Dak Prescott. I understand that I am committing some sort of American treason.
It feels it.
By criticizing Dak Prescott, but somebody has to, so I shall. Dak Prescott nearly threw that game yesterday. Spell, who's our boss's boss? Was Eric Shanks, right? That's the boss of all bosses.
The boss of all of this.
I wondered, did Dak and Shanks work a deal? Because the game was on Fox, and I didn't know if he needed to make it more competitive. Yesterday, Sel, I was watching that game like, Dak, you must be envious of Tony Romo's job and Aikman's. You trying to get in good at the network. Dak, what is going on? Sel, if Dak's name was Kirk Cousins, it would be over for him.
Let me hear.
If Dak...
Oh, we going there?
The game was done.
The game was done?
People were tweeting at me. I'm getting clowned. I'm getting jeered. Oh, Acho, this was that football team that you thought was going to beat the Cowboys.
Football team.
People are crushing me.
As they should.
When my dog Dak looked out. About 5 minutes left. Game over. He throws a pick. Goes the other way. All of a sudden, it's crickets now. Because Cowboys fans were nervous. It's beyond time to worry about Dak Prescott. Can we throw up this full screen of Dak's first 8 games and his last 4 games? Because his first 8 games, he was 6-2.
Let's go.
70% completion percentage, 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Mathematicians, that's 4 touchdowns for every interception. But his last 4 games, 2-2. 63% completion percentage, 4 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Mathematicians, you all digest that as you watch it. So, it's what have you done for me lately? Who are you lately? Our first excuses we made for Dak, well, CD's not here. Well, Amari Cooper has COVID. Well, Tyron Smith isn't here. What's the excuse now? CD present, Amari present, Michael Gallup present, Lyle Collins at right tackle present, Tyron Smith at left tackle present. What are we going to say? He didn't have Tony Pollard? He didn't have his backup running back? What excuse, America, shall we make for Dak Prescott today? I will wait. It's past time to worry about Dak Prescott. It's past time to stop making excuses for Dak Prescott. Just like he had it in the beginning of the season, he ain't got it right now. If we're going to be honest in the beginning of the season, let's be honest right now in the midst of this season. And yes, I am beyond worried about Dak Prescott.
Okay. Well, scoot over in that cell. Let me get in some of this Twitter prison with you, too. Because, it's time to worry about my boy Dak Prescott. And like a real friend, he's going to tell you really what's going on. I love Dak so much that the truth hurts, and I love to tell him the truth, even though it's going to hurt my friend. Dak, that wasn't it yesterday. Now, it worked out for you, but that ain't it. We talking about Dak Prescott throwing multiple interceptions. We saw 2 yesterday, second time this season. We seen him throw 2 interceptions. Now, when I come on this show and I give you these facts, people respect it. When I come on this show and tell the truth too early, people call it hate, and they don't respect it. Well, right now, I'm right on time looking at Dak Prescott because I was being patient, but now it's time to ring the alarm. He got sacked 4 times yesterday, and we only seen Dak get sacked twice in the previous 2 games. We saw him with his second worst passer rating yesterday. Just didn't look like Dak. So I pride myself on being Dr. Wiley up here. I know y'all scoff at it, y'all laugh at it, y'all eye roll every time I try to be the physical health and mental health expert. I am not. But when Dr. Wiley told you that Dak Prescott with the calf injury was going to be something of significance, y'all laughed at me. Now, it's real. Let's look at Dak Prescott before and after his calf injury. Dak Prescott in points per game was at 34 before the injury. Now it's down to 25. Completion percentage was 73, down to 63. Touchdown interception, 16-4, down to 8-6. 115 passer rating, down to 82. I don't know what's going on with Dak physically, but it's affecting him mentally. What he's seeing on that football field is not the same. In part, maybe his mind is still preoccupied with the injury, or what people don't really understand about injury, why you can't get to your sixth gear initially, is because once you stop thinking about your injury, you got to start trusting your new version of yourself. Dak Prescott, to me, is not in full trust of what his body has told him, and more importantly, what he's seeing out there. There's been inconsistency. One day you got Tony Pollard, one day you got Zeke, one day you got both of them. Zeke falls off, Tony can't play, receivers in the lineup, receivers out the lineup, but I'm not making excuses. I'm in the cell with you.
Good.
I'm in the cell with you. But while I'm in the cell, I still gonna tell these reasons at the trial to try to make sure I get my boy Dak Prescott off. All that said, I'm with you, the big dog. Ultimately, when the gavel was hit by the judge, it's time to worry about Dak Prescott.
Time to worry.
I give you that.
The biggest reason I'm worried about Dak, when was the last time Dak Prescott played good against a good team? The last time Dak Prescott played good against a good defense, Patriots, October 16th, Sal.
Okay.
You'll say, okay, Acho, but Dak Prescott played well against the Raiders. Raiders got the 31st scoring D. Okay, Acho, Dak Prescott played well against the Falcons. Falcons got the 28th worst scoring D. Last time Dak Prescott played good against a good team, you got to go back to October. If we are going to excessively praise Dak Prescott early in the season, and we excessively praised him, we said he should be an MVP when he was about the 8th best quarterback. We said that Dak Prescott is the best quarterback in the NFC when he was about the 5th best quarterback. So if we're going to excessively praise Dak, I'm not even going to say let's be excessively critical. But I am going to say let's be properly critical. Let's do our proper job analyzing. Sel, that was one of the worst interceptions. That was the worst interception all weekend. And one of the worst interceptions we've seen all season long. And it was by the best or one of the best quarterbacks. Nah, we got to make that make sense. I understand why we all love Dak Prescott, the person. I, too, love Dak Prescott, the person. The tears in his eyes when he broke his leg last year, the triumphs and triumphs he's overcome over the course of his life. Incredible. Love Dak Prescott, the person. But Dak Prescott's game right now? Terrible. Atrocious. It's beyond lesser than average. It's one thing if a quarterback doesn't help his team. It's another thing if a quarterback hurts us. What do you mean don't do that?
Don't do that because...
1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Passer rating of 53. Gave up the game that they already had in the bag. That's atrocious.
No, this is atrocious. You on this block saying, when's the last time Dak played well against a good team? Then I asked you that same question. When's the last time Patrick Mahomes played good against a good team?
Cowboys.
Cowboys?
Good enough, he won.
How did he perform? You want to look at those numbers? Is 62% completion percentage good for Patrick Mahomes? No touchdowns good for Patrick Mahomes? 1 touchdown? 1 interception, more interceptions than touchdowns? Is that good? 71 passer rate? Is that good? I don't know. Yeah, I'll go back to week 2 for the Ravens. I did my homework. So the point is, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If we're going to cook Dak Prescott right now, hey, let's scoot over in this cell. Let's bring Patrick Mahomes up in here too. That's my point.
What's your point?
My point is this. I'm worried about Dak Prescott because he's in a slump. I can agree on that. Still, I look at this team in totality, say they're going to be fine once they get themselves fully healthy, once they get themselves consistent up to their talent level. And we've seen it at least this year in a consistent form. It's just of late because Dak has been slumping. And guess what? Is this coincidence or not that Zeke was slumping as well? Now, you look at those two, and then Tony Pollard, who's been soaring, all of a sudden he's not in the lineup. Dak Prescott needs to figure this out because he is the leader. It's not about Tony Pollard. It's not about what receiver's playing. It's about Dak Prescott, their best leader. That I want to say. But if we're going to start cooking Dak, hey, he ain't the only one that would be in that frying pan.
That's fine. We can cook everybody as long as he going to get cooked properly, too.
Why you say that with a smile?
Because the fact is, Sal, it's criticizing Dak is like criticizing the Virgin Mary. Like, Virgin Mary just be universally accepted by several people. It's just like, Virgin, it don't matter where
you stand. Are we going to ever criticize the Virgin Mary? I'm about to say, I don't know the option. I don't know the alternative.
And to the point, we never criticized Dak.
Oh, we don't.
Prescott, no.
Don't do
you
that.
haven't. We about to bring on Bucky Brooks, who hasn't.
What?
And we just collectively let this man slide. My point is very simple. We've agreed it's time to worry about Dak. I'm not going to continue throwing stones because we're on the same page. It's just good to finally see that we're assessing Dak Prescott properly. 2-2 in your last 4 games. Completions, terrible. Passing touchdowns got more picks than you got touchdowns. It's bad. It's atrocious. It's awful. Not that Dak is bad, atrocious, and awful, but his play as of late is. Cowboys fans, y'all need to be worried. You go as far as your quarterback goes. We're 2 months away from the Super Bowl. We're a month away from the playoffs. If Dak Prescott plays like this in the playoffs, you better pray that Micah Parsons brings his best and Trayvon Diggs brings better than his best, because it is not good enough to win.
You're right. Kansas City Chiefs, everything he just said, ditto. If Patrick Mahomes changed the names, Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott, same thing. I'm with you, though. Dak can't play like this and this team go far in the playoffs. But the beautiful thing is, Dak won't play like this. Just a couple weeks ago, he was an MVP candidate. I think he will return to form. Coming up, Aaron Rodgers has toe issues, but still dominated the Bears. Tell you if the Packers are the best team in the NFL. That's next on Speed for Yourself. You didn't even know how to deal with it. We both agree. Welcome back. Joined now by Fox NFL analyst Bucky Brooks. Now let's head to Green Bay, where Aaron Rodgers continued his dominance over the Bears last night with an impressive performance. He finished with over 300 passing yards and 4 touchdown passes. Packers are now 10-3 and own the second seed in the NFC. So, Bucky, are the Packers the best team in the NFL?
No, they're not the best team.
Yes.
They're not the best team in the NFL. They may be the third or fourth best team in the NFC when we really look at this. Because this is not in a silo. Like, I understand they beat the Chicago Bears, but how good are the Chicago Bears? Like, why are we excited about them beating the Chicago Bears? They should be the Chicago Bears. They're a better team. But when we think about this thing, because now, look, December is what you remember when it comes to postseason football, and we start getting into it. Did you watch the special teams? I know you played on special teams. They dropping punts, and I got Jakeem Grant going to the crib, and they can't determine when the fair catch or not. Now, we know when we play these meaningful games, and most of the games in the playoffs are decided by one score, the kicking game matters. We've all sat in the room where the coach says, hey, it's 3 phases to the game, and you got to win 2 out of 3 to do it. It's either offense and defense and special teams. I worry about the Packers' special teams. I also worry about the injuries to their offensive line beginning to kind of wear on them. They lost Elton Jenkins. David Bakhtiari hasn't been there. They lost their rookie center. So now they're playing with 3 replacements up front. And I understand that we heard Aaron Rodgers talk about his toe not feeling well. And so I worry about the pass rush eventually getting to Aaron Rodgers and him not being able to play himself. So, no, the Packers are not the best team in the NFL, let alone the NFC.
Packers are absolutely the best team, fellas.
Look at this. How y'all sit next to each other? Look at that.
Here's my thing, Bucky. I love all your concerns. I love all your worries. But those same concerns that we have for the Packers, they jump those hurdles. However, we see other teams run up to them hurdles and turn around, or run up to those hurdles and trip and fall. We see the Packers, without their receivers, go to Arizona and win a game. Teams like the Cowboys, we see without their receivers, can't get right. So while the Packers do have a lot of concerns, for me, I'm not at all worried about the Packers, because what other people use as excuses, the Packers just trample those excuses. But the biggest reason I'm not worried is because we know how to stop the Packers, but we can't do it. Can I go to the big board? Can I go?
That was early.
May I be excused?
Exclamation point over here.
I know I look like a bumblebee, but this big board presentation hopefully does, in fact, sting. Why do I think the Packers are the best team in the NFL, not just the NFC? Because we know how to stop them. We just can't. Chicago Bears cornerback, he knew how to stop them yesterday. At least he thought he knew how to stop Davante Adams. We can look at the tape, and it's the goal line. You know Davante Adams is going to get the ball. You know Davante Adams is the best, or one of the best receivers of the league. Up top, you got Johnson, second-year player, cornerback. He's slanted inside. He's saying, you are not running a slant against me, Davante Adams. So Davante Adams perfectly, patiently fakes like he's running a fade, and he still ends up running a slant, catching a touchdown. Look at him, look back, slant, cornerback, tripped up, can't get right. Now, we knew the Packers were going to go to Davante Adams. Still couldn't stop him. That's why they're the best. But beyond that, let's talk about the running backs. Not just a running game, the running backs. Aaron Jones out of the backfield. Not only can he do it with his feet, but he can also do it with his hands. Aaron Jones out here high-pointing the ball just like a receiver, getting himself into the end zone. Take a look at this angle. After he makes the catch, he still makes a man miss. It was a long day for 33. It'll be like that sometimes. But not only do they have lightning, they also have power. A.J. Dillon. Packers, if they continue to win, they're going to have home field. You know what's hard to stop in home field advantage? A run game, particularly a bruising back like A.J. Dillon. So when I look at the Green Bay Packers in their entirety, the reason they're the best team to beat because you know what they're going to do, but you still can't stop it. And when you can't stop a move that you know is coming, you definitely can't stop a move you don't know is coming. Packers are the best team, y'all.
Nah, man. Look, way to support something that wasn't true. And that's what you went up there and did. It was amazing. Let's talk about these Green Bay Packers, who are not the best team in the NFL. And I really respected what you put up there because it gave me a little bit of doubt, as we talked about earlier, but I'm still confident in what I got to say. See what I'm saying there, Acho? Here's the thing. They're not the best team because, as Coach would say, if you can't stop them, don't worry. They'll stop themselves. Mm-hmm. Bill Belichick is the king of saying that without saying it. If you can't stop them, play your game, don't worry. They'll stop themselves, right? And I just know historically about the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers, they'll find a way to stop themselves. You talk about home field advantage. That was the narrative before last year. Give them home field advantage. Watch what happens in the NFC Championship game. How'd that go? And more importantly, how did it go? It didn't go as well as expected because they went against the team that is the best team in the NFL. Once again, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year were off to a slower start than they are this year. But you know what's the difference? This team this year, not only better record, but actually better performances, more confidence, more time in the system with Tom Brady, etc. All that adds up to the moment that Tom Brady has mastered. Tom Brady is the master of the moment. You know what Aaron Rodgers is? He's the master of making it to the moment and then falling short. And that's the problem with this team in comparison to the team that's the best, which are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay Buccaneers has a better offense, score more points. And then if you want to look at what we want to point out the issues up front. You know that Tom Brady's been sacked the least, and you know that Aaron Rodgers right now sacked 12th most in the NFL. Why does that matter? That was before you lost another offensive lineman just last night. I think they're going to be able to get to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is a master, a magician of doing exactly this. The best team we ever seen Aaron Rodgers have was a one-and-done team in the playoffs. We know Aaron Rodgers has what it takes to get to those moments, but we also know that this Green Bay Packers team has shown us time and time again that they will fall short in those same moments.
Well, absolutely, they will fall short. I'm glad you brought up the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because that's the team that appears to be their kryptonite. The last two times they played them, they haven't been able to knock them off. So that is the thing. And the thing about the playoffs, what's so great is styles make fights. Yeah. It's not just about, oh, we had the best record, so we're automatically grandfathered into the next round. No, it's how do we stylistically play to give you problems? And so when I look at this list, the Cardinals are sitting at the top, and we saw them knock off the Cardinals. And it was a great game. And, you know, DeAndre Hopkins didn't play, but we won't make excuses. We'll just continue to talk about it. Maybe Rasul Douglas held my man A.J. Green when he got that interception. Those things, no more excuses. And so I sit here and I look, and I'm looking at these teams that we know can give them problems. So the Dallas Cowboys. And I heard Acho over here talk about Dak Prescott and, you know, treason and all those other things. But then I'm not worried about the Cowboys' offense. I worry about their defense. You alluded to the fact that that offensive line is maybe a little porous. They're having a tough time protecting. Did you see what the Cowboys' defense did to the Washington football team with Michael Parsons and the Energizers, as I like to call them, Randy Gregory and Marcus Lawrence, those guys up front? So I worry about Aaron Rodgers. And we have seen this, and we have enough evidence to know. Aaron Rodgers is good enough to get us to the championship game. Yeah. But can he get us over the hump? I don't know if he can do that because I don't have enough evidence to suggest that he can get it over the hump.
But here's my problem with both of y'all's arguments. My problem with y'all's arguments is that your biggest defense against Aaron Rodgers is years prior. It's what the Buccaneers did to him last year. We've played 13 games and we're 14 weeks into this season. We got to stop talking about, well, the Bucs beat them last year. They ain't played each other thus far this year. I know who the Packers have played. Played the Rams, a Super Bowl favorite. Played the Cardinals, a Super Bowl favorite. I know the Packers beat both those teams, one on the road in a short week, one at home. I know this much. Tom Brady's 3-3 without AB and Gronk, 4-2 without similarly just Gronk. What's more likely to happen? AB to be absent or Aaron Rodgers to get COVID again? Because Aaron Rodgers, the only time the Packers truly have lost, Aaron Rodgers distracted from offseason or not present during COVID, that one Vikings game. Like, that's it.
Distracted.
That's all I can give.
I let him talk.
So when I look at it, I'm just like, the only time we've seen the Packers play bad was week 1, Aaron Rodgers. Again, I would have to assume he was distracted from the offseason. He wasn't present. Or Aaron Rodgers wasn't present versus the Chiefs, or that Vikings game, Vikings divisional game, 34-31, they got their number, ended the game. if the Packers aren't the best team right now, then we are just assuming because of history that there is a better team. But based on watching present performances, Packers have played better this year than I would say any other NFC team, including your Buccaneers. Buccaneers didn't look great when they played Washington. Mm-hmm. Buccaneers didn't look great when they played the Saints. And this was a Saints team where Jameis got hurt, if I am not mistaken. Mm-hmm. So Buccaneers have not looked great for some reasons that aren't even explicable. Packers, at least when they didn't play well, there are reasons, and I'm not even being facetious. We all played ball up here, so there are times that things make sense. Packers, when they didn't play well, at least it's like, okay, I get it. Rodgers wasn't there. He had COVID. Yeah. Okay, I get it. Rodgers didn't go to any train. Okay, I get that. But the Bucs, what's your excuse? Cowboys? Got a little bit of an excuse. Dak doesn't have an excuse for last game. But Cowboys, you can make up an excuse. Packers are the most consistent. And lastly, they still don't have all-pro cornerback Jair Alexander. Mm-hmm. They still don't have Zadarius Smith. They're supposed to get both those guys back in the next week or two. They this good without those players. Imagine when they come back.
Yeah, but the problem is, who has a better record, the Packers or the Buccaneers?
10-3, same record.
Exactly, all right. So now we're splitting hairs. Like, you're the same as another team. Oh, that other team is the defending Super Bowl champions. Already, that should give you a little bump. Mm-hmm. But okay, you haven't beat them in record. Let's say going backwards, they're the champs, you're not, and you met them, and that's the reason why you're not the champs, because they beat you. Okay. What about going forward? They have an easier schedule going forward, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, easiest schedule remaining versus you guys. Okay. So now you're not better than them. They have a better offense. Your attribute that you're trying to point out right now, their special sauce is Dylan. Who has a tremendous run defense. That's Styles make fights, Tampa Bay. Who's the master of the moment? If all things become equal, who do I trust more, Brady or Rodgers? That's where I went. Now, in present day, I'm still saying it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, even if they weren't the champions. You want to know why? Because who's going to win MVP this year? It's not Aaron Rodgers. Now, for different reasons. But even by performance, let's take away distraction game. Let's take away bad performance. Who's been the most consistent this year? Consistently excellent. Once again, if everything points to Tampa Bay, that's really sad. That's really scary for the rest of the league because the team that already has the crown, already has the jewelry, is shining the brightest again. And this is a team that looks better than they did last year in its quest to its championship.
Look, you talk about that, and we've only stuck to the NFC because in the AFC, there are some teams, too, that give them problems. And I know we talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs who have won 6 in a row.
What show you doing?
I'll give you that. My Chiefs.
Packers best team in the NFL.
Yeah.
The entire NFL.
The Chiefs are better than the Packers?
They give them problems.
Absolutely, they are. They won 6 in a row.
That's the
defense is balling out of control. Absolutely. The Chiefs are better.
You see, I got Packers and I got Chiefs.
I'm listening. I don't want to cut you off because I know you can't make sense of this, so I want you to try and finish.
Absolutely. Can't make sense of this. I've seen the Chiefs win 6 games in a row.
Against?
They all have NFL on the jersey.
No, you're right. Okay, we can play that game.
Because the Bears played last night.
Yeah.
I haven't seen them wow people.
That part.
Right. So if we talk about playing your best ball and where it is right now, because you're not talking about what it looked like a month ago when they played.
Yeah.
We're talking about right now. Well, right now, the Chiefs are a different team. The defense is better. Yeah. And so I know that
but the quarterback is worse.
I'm torn.
You go as far as your quarterback. Look, when we get into these games, who are the quarterbacks? Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen last year, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. This version of Patrick Mahomes ain't that version of them. But this is the same version of Aaron Rodgers, if not better. This is the same version of Tom Brady, if not better.
Aaron Rodgers with the toe jam. That's what we're saying. Aaron Rodgers with the toe jam. We're going to take Patrick Mahomes in a one-game scenario. That's what we're saying.
Yeah. That part.
No, I'm not saying that.
Well, I didn't want to cut you off. What other team in the AFC? If it's not the Chiefs, that's it, right?
The Patriots. The Patriots.
The
Patriots have won 7 straight. Patriots got a top defense.
But you just told me records and win streaks.
Top defense. No, we talk about defense winning championships, right?
Yeah.
And so we talk about no one has been able to confound Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. But the one thing that we do know is Bill Belichick ain't scared. Yeah. Bill Belichick ain't worried about making Aaron Rodgers play with that hand behind his back. We're not worried about that. So absolutely, the Patriots and the Chiefs. But if you're going to press me on one, the Patriots, absolutely.
Okay. So now we got Buccaneers for you. So you got 3 teams ahead of them. They're 4th for you right now in the NFL standings.
And I mean, I wouldn't discount the Cardinals. But yeah. I wouldn't discount the Cardinals.
We got to get back to our production meeting and see why we even asked this question, because they're not even in the top 5 damn near for you, Bucky, but that's crazy. Coming up, Lamar Jackson. What about the Ravens? Can they beat them? Without Lamar Jackson, according to Bucky,
the Ravens can't beat them.
Had to be carted off yesterday. I'll tell you if it's panic time for the Ravens in the AFC. Next, so speak for yourself. Damn.
Lucky said they're a college team.
Lamar Jackson was carted off the field early in the second quarter of the Ravens' loss to the Browns on Sunday. John Harbaugh said today that his quarterback has an ankle sprain, and he indicated there are plans for Lamar to be out there Sunday against the Packers. Bucky is back with Acho. Is it panic time for Lamar's Ravens in the AFC?
Absolutely. Firstly, let's talk about the Ravens, man. They've 3-4 in their last 7 games. Now, secondly, let's talk about Lamar Jackson.
Let's go.
That's what it comes down to. Lamar Jackson is to the Ravens what Tom Brady is to the Bucs, what Aaron Rodgers is to the Packers, what Dak Prescott is to the Cowboys. Lamar Jackson is not, if not the most valuable player in the league. He's clearly the most valuable player to his team. Without Lamar Jackson, the Ravens are maybe a 500 football club. Maybe. The reason I'm panicked is because though they have a 1-game lead, they only have a 1-game lead, Bucky Brooks. Yes, you have a 1-game lead in the AFC North, but you still have to play 2 AFC North opponents. You still have to play the Steelers at the end of the season. You still have to play a Cincinnati Bengals team that can light you up on any given Sunday. I honestly, more than panicked I am for the Ravens, I'm panicked for Lamar Jackson. I'm panicked for Lamar Jackson and everything that's going to come from this, that's going to come with this. We've already seen the social media hecklers see this is why you don't like running quarterbacks. This is why Lamar Jackson needs to stay in the pocket. More than I am panicked for the Ravens, I'm panicked for Lamar. Lamar is so good because of his ability to run. You know, call him a running quarterback, you get in trouble, call whatever you want. Lamar is so good because of his ability to run. As a defensive lineman, a linebacker, and a defensive back on this set, you have the entire levels of every aspect of defense. And we can all attest to the fact that when you play a running quarterback or a quarterback who has the ability to run, it changes everything.
Yeah.
For Marcellus, it'll change his pass rush. For Bucky, it'll change how he has to cover. And for a linebacker, it might change if I have to spy him or not. Either way, it changes everything. If Lamar comes back and doesn't even have that same ability, Bucky, to run, doesn't have that same ability, Cell, to get outside the pocket, then he just doesn't have his same ability. So even if Lamar is back, he's not the same Lamar. And even when Lamar was present, he had been struggling as of late. It's beyond panic time for the Ravens.
What you got, Buck?
Oh, it's panic time. It is panic time, and it's unfortunate because I really like Lamar Jackson. I believe Lamar Jackson, one of the special talents in our league. But let's call a spade a spade. He has not played well this year.
Okay.
And so when we go and we look at these numbers, I mean, the numbers, passer rating, he's 22nd, completion percentage, 23rd. But the most important number that you have to look at, he's tied for second in terms of giveaways. And we know that the number one determining factor, deciding factor in games, the turnover battle. He is not protecting the ball. And so I heard you guys talk about when you're compromised, how you play differently.
Yeah.
Like, your body is saying, my mind is saying, I can do it. But your body's like, no.
Yeah.
So now you get into this fog where, what can I do? How can I do it? Can I protect the ball? And so for a team that has really been built around Lamar Jackson's legs, not his throwing ability, if he is unable to move around like we've seen him run, how does this offense go? Because all the read option, power read stuff that they do is non-existent if the quarterback is not a threat. Now, Acho and you're not even worried about him running. He's like, he can't pull it because he's limping out there. So now I'm running right to the running back. And if they're not able to do that, coupled with the play action, what can they really do offensively? And they were struggling offensively before the injury. Yeah, it's a done deal for them.
Yeah, it's panic time. And you know this hurts me to say this about my boy and this situation. I tell you why it's panic time. Let's be real. Lamar Jackson came into this season. He wasn't compromised. They were compromised. So what happened? He was pressing. This year, Lamar Jackson off. Lowest touchdown percentage, highest interception percentage. You talk about the giveaways, et cetera, et cetera. The team saw what we all knew was going to happen. If you put too much on your shoulders, no matter who you are as a player, you try to do everyone else's job, what happens? Something will give. Finally, something's give. It's his ankle right now. So what does that do? All of a sudden, that changes the dynamic of an offense that's already compromised. Let's be real. Top 10 in rushing every year under Greg Roman. Bottom 10 in passing every year. So now it's going to make them look at the game differently. I don't think that they're capable of doing that. Because when I see Lamar Jackson under center, Lamar Jackson in the shotgun, if I don't have the threat of him and his athleticism going out there and attacking us as a defense, not only does that change our math, that changes our mind. And we're going to play you differently, big dog. So now they're in a real interesting place. Are they going to be able to reconfigure how they offensively attack teams. They're already down to the third, fourth running back. Lamar Jackson now on one leg, and this situation adds up to, like, I think it's going to have to be a remix. We'll see when he gets out there. But one thing I do want to push back on is that if Lamar Jackson doesn't have his athleticism, that he can't perform. This is still a guy who won an MVP because he led the league in passing touchdowns. Now, is there a trust element to the fact that Greg Roman doesn't want Lamar Jackson to fully go out there and press the ball down the field? I think that's going to be the real conversation. You're going to have to force the ball down the field to still give us that same threat of attacking us on defense. Without that, this is panic time.
Let's have a conversation because I'm interested in these stories for you all. So, was there an injury that you obtained during a game that you played through during the game, but the next week you had to miss because that injury was a real deal?
Ooh, man, you got specific. On a Wednesday, too? No, the Sunday game was cloudy. Yeah, give me yours.
Let me think. Mine while y'all think.
Partly cloudy.
Because the point is, adrenaline is the strongest.
Oh, okay, great.
And if you can't play through something in game, I know you got an issue.
Yeah,
I tore my MCL, second degree, during the course of a football game. Finished the rest of that game. Was out for another 2 weeks after that. But I was still able to finish that game because of adrenaline. I'm sure you all have similar stories, whether you can think of them right now or not. Whenever I see a player exit a game during a game, that's when I'm like, oh, this ain't good, man. I know of players who have lacerated kidneys, ping blood at halftime and still finish the game.
Right.
So when Lamar Jackson not only exits a game, but can't walk off the field and has to get a cart, that's when I'm like, even if he does come back soon, just based on my knowledge of the game of football and injuries, it's different. And so why is it different? To go to your point, Sel, because so many people are going to say, well, Acho, he did lead the league in passing touchdowns from the pocket, you know, the year he won the MVP. Y'all have to understand, it's easier to get an assist in basketball if you're a scoring threat. Because if you're a scoring threat, that you're going to draw defenders, and it's easier to get an assist. It's easier to throw passing touchdowns from the pocket if you're a running threat.
Right.
Because if you're a running threat, the linebacker like me is not helping Bucky Brooks in coverage. I'm spying Lamar Jackson, so now Bucky's truly isolated one-on-one, and now it's all on Bucky. So while the argument might be, well, Lamar Jackson did lead the league in passing touchdowns from the pocket, just be certain that the reason he was able to do that with such efficiency is, again, because of the running threat.
So here's the thing. When you look at the Ravens, the biggest issue that they've had on offense is on a Thursday night, the Miami Dolphins played Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, and they blitzed him with cover zero more than anybody has ever done. They brought DBs from everywhere, and he couldn't get away from it. He tried to use the sight adjustments and the high routes that were baked into the scheme. The next week, we saw other teams do similar tactics, and then he started to use his athleticism. We seen him fading and throwing lobs where he's retreating from Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney in some games when they're bringing the pressure. Well, now that we know that Lamar Jackson is compromised and he can't run, and he's already having the issue with the all-out blitz, oh, if I'm the defensive coordinator and I'm facing a guy who's compromised, oh, we're coming after him. Hey, guys, we're dialing up. We're sitting in the house because we already have concerns about whether he can defeat it with his arm. And now that we know he can't do it with his legs, oh, we're going all out. And can Greg Roman help his quarterback have answers? God. That's the big issue.
Man, I've been talking about that for a couple of years, about the Greg Roman, Lamar Jackson relationship, knowing that would come back to bite him. Even when he won an MVP and winning the MVP and you got the most passing touchdowns, it can't be Greg Roman. I was like, it's going to come down to Greg Roman and the trust factor in Lamar Jackson. Now, what has happened is simple. Teams went out there and tried to speed the game up to Lamar Jackson. How do you do that? You put faster players on the field and you blitz them. You say that processor, no matter what speed it's working at, we going to test it to the next level, to the next gear. What's happened now is Lamar Jackson didn't respond to that. And even worse now, I don't know if he's going to be able to respond to that because of the compromised ankle. Coming up, Cowboys defense was great. The offense, not so much. I have a lot to say about Dallas's win over Washington next on Speak for Yourself. Damn. Dallas backed up Mike McCarthy's guarantee of a win, but it was not easy. Dak Prescott threw 2 interceptions, including the pick 6 late in the fourth quarter. But the defense, led by Micah Parsons, finished with 4 turnovers and 5 sacks against Washington. Bucky is with us, but Acho, what are your thoughts on the Cowboys win over Washington?
You won the game, and that's the only thought I have that's good. That's the only thought I have that's positive. Congrats, you won the game. Outside of that, nothing positive, because I'm not a Cowboys fan, but but I need the Cowboys to win. It makes everything better. If you're in sports media, it behooves you to root for the Cowboys. So I want to see the Cowboys go far in the playoffs. That game yesterday didn't tell me that they will. Well, that game told me this. Micah Parsons is certified as a Defensive Rookie of the Year and is in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. That game told me this. Randy Gregory, kudos to the Cowboys for sticking it through all of Randy Gregory's off-the-field issues because he might lead them to a run. But offensively, that game didn't show me or tell me anything positive. So my thoughts on the Cowboys, congrats, you won the game. It's going to take a lot more than that to significantly win in the playoffs.
See, man, he's like,
he got to do his papers.
I'm over here
Tom Brokaw.
blown away because, see, here's what happened. The Cowboys are spoiled us, let's be honest. The Cowboys spoiled us because in the last few years, we've seen a dynamic offense lead the way. We've seen Dak Prescott throwing all over the yard, Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, these guys. It's exciting. It's the star. It's glitz and glamour. You know, you played there. It's splashy.
I mean, come on.
So, but then when I'm looking at them, I think they are now better constructed to win a Super Bowl than ever because the defensive side of the ball, we never talk about that, right? It's all the fancy guys in the nice suits or whatever defensive guys that come in the locker room. It's not the defensive guys that we always talk about. It's always the offensive guys that have the pizzazz. But now I'm looking at Michael Parsons. I'm looking at Randy Gregory. I'm looking at D. Law. Trevor Diggs. I'm going to be honest with you. There are times when I'm watching them on TV that I'm like, man, let's hurry up and punt so I can see the defense run out there.
Yeah.
Because that's when the best part of the Cowboys team is going to play. If you had asked me that at the beginning of the season, I never would have said that, hey, let's go see the defense. But because the defense is able to turn it over, the defense is able to generate sacks. Remember, they're one of only 2 teams with 30-plus sacks and 25-plus turnovers. And so when we think about the way the game plays in the postseason, it is always the defense that carries the water. Remember, Tampa Bay won the Super Bowl, not because of TB12, but because of their defense. The Cowboys' defense gives them. So I'm excited that they guaranteed to win, and they were able to win because the defense was able to take center stage.
Yeah, I'm saying that, and I'm going to echo what I said earlier in this show. The fact that this team went out there and supported their coach. This team went out there and said, oh, coach, you can guarantee we're going to go out there and slap them boys around. And we're going to go out there and still slap them boys around. Imagine I said that to you, Bucky.
Oh,
I'm going to come across this table and slap you. Oh, and then I actually do it. And you be like, and that's what happened. That's the most impressive thing about this win. Not, oh, Michael Parsons is insane. Kind of knew that before the game. The fact that now I see this team in unison in terms of what coach calls, we're going to go out there and actually perform. People were always trying to break up this team in 2 ways. Mike McCarthy's not the coach for them. Well, Mike McCarthy just wrote a check that they had to cash, and they cashed it. Another thing, the defense ain't good enough. Well, looks like now some people are saying the defense is leading the charge more so than the offense, certainly with the inconsistency of Dak of late and the struggling of Zeke and his injury. So now you look around, it's the defense leading the charge. And then defense wins championships. You need a defense in January to really do something. Now we see it all coming together because we know the offensive talent and production is there. Washington was red hot. And then Washington got food for thought and someone's guaranteed they're going to come to our house and beat us down. And then somebody did that. Like told you, I'm about to come through the crib. Here's the time. I know where you live. Put it out there like Kanye did Drake's address. And then showed up and did what he had to do. All I'm saying is these Cowboys are like putting it together right now, right before our eyes. You don't believe it, you actually going to go out there and see it.
I think what we discovered in the Washington football game, they might have found another running back, too. They might have found another guy to throw in the rotation. I know y'all like to disparage Ezekiel Elliott. Oh, he can't do it. So they found Corey Clement. Tony Pollard couldn't go. So he couldn't play, so they find another guy to split some of the carries. The only thing that can hold the Cowboys back from winning it all will be how Kellen Moore calls their offense. See, because offensive coordinators, sometimes they got all them plays they want to call it pass plays. I got all this cute stuff that I want to do. But we're now seeing that the Cowboys may be better suited to be a blue-collar outfit, not the one that has all the sizzle. So can Kellen Moore and Mike McCarthy say, hey, the defense is the strength of our team. Let's run it. Let's take care of it. Let's finish it. Because they didn't do it at the end of the Washington football game because they got Q started throwing it. Can they say the defense leads the way? We're going to ride the defense and let the defense carry us to a title.
Yeah, they won yesterday the time of possession by 10 minutes, and that's still with no Pollard and a struggling Ezekiel Elliott in terms of injury. See how that plays in January. Coming up, Cam Newton said his performance Sunday was inexcusable.
This Sunday or last Sunday? Or the Sunday before that? Or you mean the Sunday before that?
I mean Sundays in the year. We'll tell you if he's helped or hurt his NFL future. Next, on Speak for Yourself. Oh, this is going to get ugly. The Falcons beat the Panthers Sunday, and Cam Newton is still winless as a starter since his return to Carolina. Cam had 2 turnovers, including a pick 6. He was also replaced by backup P.J. Walker in the 4th quarter. And Matt Rule said today the Panthers will continue to play both Cam and Walker at quarterback. Acho, here we go. Has Cam helped or hurt his NFL future?
Man, I can't speak to Cam's future, but I can speak to his reputation, and Cam Newton is hurting that. You know what they say, you either die a hero or live long enough to become a villain, and Cam Newton is starting to be villainized, and really he's doing it to himself. If this is how Cam Newton is going to play, it's best that he retire. So here's why I say that. What Cam Newton has been able to do well is play on script. Anybody can play well on script, but off script is when Cam Newton has a problem. I know y'all hear this a lot, that the first 15 plays in football are scripted. An offensive coordinator, he scripts the first 15 plays of a game because you typically know what the defense is going to do. But after that, now you just got to play ball. Now we find out just how good are you really. Well, I figured this out when I started doing some research, Sal. Cam Newton, the first 9 plays of the game, touchdown 3 weeks ago, touchdown 2 weeks ago, touchdown against the Falcons. The opening 9 plays of the game, this is what Cam Newton looks like on the left column. 70% completion percentage, 12.8 passing yards a play. You see the touchdowns, you see the turnovers. But every play after that, Cam Newton normalizes to the player that he now, unfortunately, appears to have become. So Cam Newton is hurting himself because when Cam Newton is on script, oh, he's great. But the Panthers can only stay on script for a possession or 2. After that, we all got to play ball. And when the playing field is level, Cam Newton's talent is not the same talent we are accustomed to. Cam Newton's killing his NFL legacy by continuing to play.
It's interesting. I'm up here saying he's doing both, helped and hurt his chances for an NFL future. I'll tell you why. Look, if you're in the dance, you got a chance. So, look, Cam Newton's still in the NFL, so he got a chance to right these wrongs. The problem is more wrong is happening than right in this moment. But I don't want to talk like I don't support Cam Newton going forward, because as his agent on this show, I assume, I have to talk about it in the terms that it's presented, which is everything you showed, Acho, supports exactly why Cam Newton is struggling. Cam Newton struggles once you have to open up the playbook and say, let's go from chapter 1 to chapter 6, chapter 11. Oh, I don't know that, coach. Now, I know the verbiage. I know what you said. I actually can put everyone in the right position. But as you know, you need 10,000 hours to master something. Cam doesn't have the hours in these systems. The last 2 systems he's been in, no offseason, no preseason, even COVID last year. The point being, Cam Newton doesn't have the muscle memory in any system to go out there and play mindlessly. So when you're not playing mindlessly, you're full of thought. A thinking player is a slower player and certainly a worse player. I know what's happening with Cam Newton. He just doesn't have that degree of black belt that he needs in this offense to go out there and make the plays necessary. It's that simple. Now, that said, you put yourself in that position as well, big dog. I can't give you a pass on that because Cam Newton, you played yourself into a position where all of a sudden you don't get the rope necessary to go out there and do some damage. So which way is up? It's a chicken and egg conversation right now.
When you're at the bottom of the depth chart, and I was drafted in the 6th round, when you're at the bottom of the depth chart, you have to do things that people at the top of the depth chart don't have to. You were at the top of the depth chart, I would assume, 2nd round pick. What do I mean by that? A 6th round pick, you better execute every play properly. You better pick up the playbook faster than the 2nd round pick, definitely faster than the 1st round pick, because to Sel's point, you don't have that same rope. At this point in time, it's going to be cyclical. Cam, you don't do well with what you are given, so you're not given a lot, so we usher you to another team. Well, now you don't do well with what you're given, so we usher you to another team. Eventually, Cam Newton is going to have to excel beyond the expectations because he no longer gets that Heisman #1 overall pick treatment. So,
man, to that point, bruh, when I was coming down the hill, I started to take notice of how much leash was lost in my dissension. And you get to a point where you're like, I can't even just do everything right. I have to do something special with these few opportunities I have. And unfortunately, we haven't seen much special from Cam. Coming up, Raiders poke the bear. Gave KC some motivation. I'll tell you if Patrick Mahomes kept it 100 or just 99 with his response. That's next on Speak for Yourself. Meeting on the door, meeting on the logo. Let's go. On this show, we only know how to keep it 100. But others, They only keep it 9-9. Each day we're going to get to the bottom of who's really telling the truth. And the case in point right here, the Raiders decided to get hyped up on the Chiefs logo pregame. Patrick Mahomes said it played a part in their blowout win. Listen to this.
You definitely don't want people coming into your stadium and trying to disrespect things that you've kind of built. And so for us, just gave us a little bit more motivation to go out there and win against a really good football team that we have a rivalry against.
Is Patrick Mahomes keeping it 100 or 99?
I think he's keeping it 100, big dog. He didn't say anything spectacular. He just said you don't want people to disrespect what you've built. I think there's a little bit more of a narrative that we've created in the media. I think that motivation lasts for about a play, plays, opening kickoff. But I think he's keeping it 100.
Keeping it 1, if that. Look, disrespected the logo. You didn't build the logo. You painted the logo. And you weren't there when they were painting it pregame. You don't care. You stamp on it. You dance on it. You run plays on it. Stop acting like that really means something. That's it for us. Fox Bet Live is next. Stop lying.